Thank you and welcome to today's event. Why A Plus users are moving to Infor CloudSuite distribution. I'm Action Associate Jason Naxet. Did a little bit of rundown of today's events. Down at the bottom of your screen, you'll see some icons. From there, you can request a demo, ask any questions, or view some of the resources we have attached to this presentation. At the end, we'll have a slide for you to view. It has a QR code. You can scan that with your mobile device. Take you to our landing page that you can view resources like case studies, customer success stories, and register for any future events we have coming up in the near future. And also, you can request to schedule a demo with Rob Dallas himself. Today's event will address how Infor CloudSuite distribution will provide a comprehensive cloud service of industry-proven distribution capabilities, fueled by deep industry expertise across our development teams and customers who collaborate with us. Infor creates complete solutions that work the way you do. And speaking of our presenter, Rob Dallas has been helping distributors find their ideal software solutions for over 25 plus years. From those 25 years of experience, Rob has been working specifically with Infor CloudSuite distribution product line for more than a decade. He not only understands the software, but also the needs of distributors, which allows him to better assist his customers. And Rob, if you're ready, I'll let you take it away.
Great. Thanks, Jason. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you perfectly.
Great, and welcome everyone. As far as what we're going to cover today, as far as the agenda goes, we're going to start by looking at distribution industry trends. We've got a few slides. Then we'll look at a slide regarding a real compare and contrast of CSD versus A+. And then we're going to go ahead and look at the software itself, then talk a little bit about Action and the changes that we've gone through in growth and the Action difference. And then at the end, we will have time for some Q&A. So if you do have questions, feel free to enter them in the chat panel or the QA panel. And Jason will make sure that he queues those up to me so we can get those answered. Infor is the author or manufacturer of CSD, CloudSuite distribution, just like they are of your A+ software. Infor has gone through some growth in recent years. They are now fully owned by the Koch brothers. They are the third largest ERP company in the world. You can see their strong micro-vertical expertise, their positioning over on the left. But I think what's important to note is that they really are striving to be leaders in technology and innovation. So not only adding additional deep distribution functionality, to CSD, but also how can we leverage new technology to allow people to work the way they live and obviously make them more efficient. Distributors have gone through many challenges in the industry. For example, the manufacturing footprint change, like whether or not they're just getting it from manufacturers going direct, cutting out some of the distributors. Cybersecurity is another big issue that they've had to combat. As a distributor, the challenges you face today, you rethink how you're going to do business. Old processes and approaches just don't cut it anymore. So again, Infor CloudSuite distribution is the ready-to-run solution built specifically to meet the needs of distributors, gives you deep proven capabilities in key areas such as inventory management, order processing, pricing and rebates. And really, I think the strongest area of CloudSuite distribution is the advanced inventory management. Managing your inventory through purchasing, through production, through transfers, managing distribution centers. This is the slide I mentioned that lets us compare a little bit about CSD versus A+. Of course, CSD is browser-based. It's a multi-tenant SaaS product that runs in a browser. So you can access it from anywhere, whether it be a laptop, tablet, desktop, etc. As long as you have internet connectivity, via Wi-Fi or cellular, you can get in and access your CSD system. It's a real-time processing system, real-time accounting, so it minimizes system downtime. There's an optional analytics that comes with predefined content to really get in and turn that data into useful information. A big difference of a cloud-based product is that there are monthly updates versus upgrades. So it's more of a push or versus a pull model. It's a new expense option and operational expense versus a capital expense. A continuously evolving software with extended product roadmap. This is where they're continuing to invest. This is their flagship distribution product. This is where they're adding, as I mentioned, that new distribution functionality as well as that additional technology functionality. And of course, you can minimize the risk of IT skills shortages on legacy systems. How many support analysts or consultants are going to be around in the next, let's say, 5-10 years that know the A+ software, right? Many of them that are coming in want to work on a next gen product and, again, work with the latest and greatest technology. Again, some of the differences here between on-prem and in the cloud. CloudSuite, you do own the data versus hardware infrastructure. Payment structure, of course, there's a monthly fee based on storage and computing as used. The innovation, always getting the latest innovations and software at your pace. So there's certain things you don't have to turn on, new functionality if you don't want it. Best-in-class security on AWS, Amazon Web Services, and integration and implementation. So pre-certified suite across the entire enterprise. Okay, with that, I'm going to go ahead and jump into the demo. Okay, I'll toggle over to my Edge browser. Any browser works as long as you have one of the more recent versions. I thought we'd run through a quick sales scenario, show you some of the nice features and functionality built into CSD. We're going to do a pricing and availability lookup. We're going to check the status of an order, right, or quote, attach a document through the included integrated document management system, and then finally we'll go in and process a new order. So as far as navigation goes, you can use the standard menu system as you'd expect. You can use save bookmarks, or you can actually just enter in what you're trying to do. So if I'm trying to do something with pricing, I could just enter in OEIP, which is the acronym for this function, or notice when I typed in pricing, I see all the functions that contain those characters. So I'm going to jump into this function, and you'll notice when I click on a field, it shows me my recently used. Okay, it's called MRUs. That's nice because think of all the seconds you're saving across the enterprise, jotting down on a yellow scratch pad or sticky note, customers, products, order numbers, whatever it might be. Lookups are very simple. You just start typing something you know related to what you're looking for, whether that be part of a customer number, whether that be a name. And the more you give it, it narrows down our search results. You can enter in a phone number, a contact's name, a zip code. Okay? Anything that you know related to, in this case, the customer, to narrow down your search results. Same with the product lookup. Again, I can type in grill and I'm going to get some hits. Then if I add in that I'm looking specifically for a built-in grill, now notice again, similar to what you're used to in Google, any items that contain both words that I've entered appear at the top, and then any items that contain either or of the words appear below. You also get to see product availability here before I select a product. Now, here notice we have current availability, the list price of this product, this customer's today price, and notice I've actually personalized my user experience by changing this field to be green to jump out at me. Okay. Also, you may also notice this nice product image. Okay. Certain areas of the system have product images, but let's say you're somewhere where there isn't an image or you want to see the spec sheet associated with this item. Notice at the right, this is called a smart panel. And at the top, if I click on my widgets, that opens up my context-based intelligent web parts. And notice the top here, my first one is document management. So a full document management system that's integrated with CSD. So it's always sitting here monitoring what I'm doing, and it's dynamically going to change based on what I'm looking at or working with. So it knows right away we're working with customer 3020. Or if I do the drop down and select product documents, well, now I could see that spec sheet for that grill, and I could actually drill in and get a full size of it. I could email it right from this web part to the customer that maybe is looking for it, or I could toggle and then see the next document, which in this case happens to be the product image. You can leave this open if you want. Typically, people have it closed to gain the real estate, but remember, it's always, again, more information right at your fingertips. So here in this worksheet, I could actually do some manipulation if I'm doing negotiation with the customer, some what if type pricing scenarios. You can also, as you're doing that exercise, hit record price, pull up additional items, hit record price. And at the conclusion, your customer then hopefully says, well, will you send me a quote on what you've just verbally quoted me? You don't have to go into quote entry and re-enter those items. You simply hit the create quote button and it knows all the items that you work with where you hit recorded price. And then it's going to automatically produce that quote. And again, then you can just email it directly from here to your customer. So we've given them the current availability and pricing. And let's say they have a question about an open order. So I'm going to go into OEIO, which is order inquiry. And if you knew the order number, you could enter it here, or all of the inquiries have this advanced search. So I can select on this advanced search and notice here I have, it looks like 7 fields that I can utilize to find any type of, in this case, a sales document. But one of the philosophies of Infor regarding CSD is to keep screens simple and clean. So yes, there are 50 or so different fields that I could utilize to find this document. I'm only going to have, again, my default fields that I use most frequently because I don't want it to seem complicated or cumbersome. But in this scenario, maybe I want to turn on additional fields. And it's as simple as toggling a date range, maybe product, maybe the reference field, and maybe transaction types. Right? And again, you can see due to the underlying technology of the browser, the CSD browser UI, it's just redesigned my user experience. As a user, you can have save searches. So maybe as a sales rep, you want quick access to your open orders or open quotes, or maybe for a specific job. I'm going to look for purchase orders where the customer PO number contains PD3. See, we have multiple hits. One thing to point out, notice whenever you see a blue hyperlink, that means you can drill down or really drill across to another area of the system. So I could jump right into customer inquiry for that account that was the hyperlink. And again, I can see some nice, an overview of the account, some nice visual representations. And notice at the top, it just opened up an additional tab within CSD. You can have as many functions open as you want. It's still just one user license in the system. I'm going to go ahead and select this third order and drill down into it. Now I see a nice representation of what stage the order's in, right, as it transitions through the system, because we just have one order number that goes through different stages, and there's a 2-digit suffix for the additional shipments if they exist. There's, again, the analytics or visual representation related to margin. But notice on these subtabs here at the top, one of them is the line detail. So you can drill in to see in the body of the order. Notice hyperlinks again. I could drill right into product inquiry if you wanted to for a specific item. You could go to the pricing inquiry, product availability inquiry. All of these list views or grids has this same look and feel. You can sort by any column by clicking on it. You can rearrange the columns in any way you desire. Again, that can be by individual user, by role, so groups of users, or company-wide. All of the grids can be exported to Excel. They come over nicely formatted with filtering already pre-established, or you could even turn on filtering right here within this view. And that's nice, so because let's say you're looking at this order and there's 80 lines. Well, I really need to see just my tab extensions. So I'm going to take my description column, and again, I could do filter out if it contains, begins with, does not contain, etc. I'm going to filter out my tab extensions. So again, in a matter of seconds, I was able to interact with the data as you might be used to doing in a reporting tool, but here I'm doing it right within the ERP itself. And you have that nice filtering capability on any column and any grid. So maybe I'd want to filter out by manufacturer or vendor, or my non-stock items, or by product category, whatever it is that you can think of. So let's say after we've reviewed this order with the customer, we realize that they didn't send us a customer PO. Okay, so they emailed it. What I'm going to do is open up my Smart Panel again. So I have my doc management web part. I'm going to go find the file that they just sent to me. I'm simply going to drag and drop it over to this web part. And then what am I associating it with? In this case, it would be the sales order. And then I just have to designate what type of document is it. And here we're going to select that it is a customer PO. And now once I upload this document, now you notice the PDF is here. Now anyone that's interacting with this order in entry and inquiry, they would have quick access to any documents that have been associated with that entity. Okay, now let's say we've talked to the customer about this order, given them an update, they sent us the PO. Now, thankfully, they want to place a new order. So I'm going to go into order entry. And typically there's one of four things you do in order entry. You're creating a new order, editing or maintaining an existing order, deleting or canceling an order, or copying an order. And you can copy an order from multiple orders into one new singular order, from one customer to another, from one customer ship to another ship to, and there's an option to reprice it with current pricing. So it's a very simple utility, but very powerful. Again, you could copy template orders, for certain types of customers if you want it. Again, if I select the customer field, it remembers that we've been working with Northern Supply. One nice thing about CSDs, there's only one entry function that you use to create different types of orders. And of course, different things happen behind the scenes based on the type of order that you're creating, but it really does make CSD easy to learn. Right? You get the process down, then you're able to create stock orders, quotes, returns, blanket orders, corrections, etc. I'm going to go ahead and workflow forward. And the orientation is left to right. So our header or banner information is over here on the left. Again, we could change the order type if we started in an order and we wanted a quote or vice versa. I could go ahead and change the customer if I selected the wrong one. I also can see some total information. Product selections here in the middle. There are multiple ways to find products, which we'll talk about in a second. And then my shopping cart or footer is over here on the right. Now, I mentioned there are multiple ways to find products, but you set as a user your default preference. So this is called easy entry. And every time I come into order entry, it's going to have this layout, this interface. And I like it because let's say we go in and say we're shopping for an LED light. To me, it resembles what we're used to doing in our personal lives, let's say on Amazon. I get to see pictures. I have a short description. I have current availability, this customer's today price. But it also allows me to select multiple items that I might get hits for based on my search criteria. So maybe the customer wants a couple of those lights, one of those, maybe three of those. And now with one singular action, I can add all three of those items to my order. Now at any time in the order, you can just hit the finish button and get immediately out of the order. There's no other screens that you have to go through. So it really is designed for speed. I can get in and enter this 3-5 line order in 3 or 4 seconds. But let's say in our scenario, customer wants some additional items that maybe they purchased in the past. So we're going to toggle to one of the other entry methods. And in this case, we're going to select shopping. And there are multiple ways to shop, but what we really want to do is shop off of past sales. And this allows us to go for any time period. The system can produce a simple list, so each item once, that they purchased within that time frame. You're provided with current availability, this customer's today price, again, going through our contracts and pricing records. Its recommended quantity is the last quantity they purchased. It gives you the opportunity to upsell. Last purchase date, price, product images. There's a ton more information, the cost, margin information, if you have security to see it. And again, remember these grids, you can rearrange any way you want. So if margin and cost are important to you, I'd pull those probably right next to the last price. So they're right there on the first screen. Okay. You can do searching to find the items you're looking for. I could turn on the filtering as we talked about. But what makes this grid unique is that it's actually an order pad. So from right here, you have the ability to select an item, set the quantity. Now we'll go ahead and do multiple items. Again, I could use my mouse or my arrow key and tab down into the selected fields, set the quantities, and then again with one singular action, I'm adding those items to my order. Maybe you want to see a list of promotional products. Could be dead stock you're pushing. Could be for a certain type of customer that you're dealing with. And again, you just want to suggest other items. Could be models that are being replaced. Right? We're really good at, CSD is really good at handling that with what's called a supersede item. And there's rules around, do you have to sell out of the old model before you can sell the new, et cetera. The other type of entry that I want to review is what's called advanced entry. And this probably resembles what you're used to today in your A+ system, where you can select, are we doing a stock, non-stock, special order? And again, here I can just type in part of the SKU that I know and select an item. I can just start typing in something related to the item that I'm looking for. Again, this item, when I select it, it actually has been defined with options or accessories. So you're able to, again, upsell, offer the customer, do you need any rollers, hardware, or belting? And again, I could quickly go through and select those options and maybe even change the quantities of some of those values. And once you hit submit, all 3 of those items are added to your order. If you don't have product available, we're going to be presented with a few different options. Do we want to view substitutes, upgrades, or alternate warehouse product? So we may have that item and other locations. I may want to look at cross-references to see, we may have alternate product that's the exact same item, just a different SKU because it's a different manufacturer. And I could select that item from right here and add it to my order. Or if you give the user security to do so, you could allow them to source it right here within order entry. And the sourcing could be from another warehouse. Right? I could select that remote warehouse, and if I were to submit this, a transfer order would immediately be created and tied to this sales order, or maybe a purchase order. Again, it pulled up our default vendor, but I could change that. Maybe I want to make this one line a direct shipped directly to the customer. And again, if you were to hit submit here, a purchase order is immediately created and tied to the sales order. But in our case, we're just going to go ahead and add the line. Again, you get a diagnostic that a back order was created, but then that demand is automatically going to trickle down to the buyer in what's called the buyer's demand center. Okay. At this point, I may want to look at taxes and totals. Again, we can manage those tax jurisdictions manually, or there's an interface to Avalara if you want them to automate your tax processing and file the taxes for you. Or you may want to collect payment. And I could collect maybe a percentage or a dollar amount of the deposit that stays with this order and then is automatically applied when it's invoiced. Maybe they want to pay some with a check, some with a credit card. That's fine. It can have multiple payment types on an order. And again, integrated credit card system that meets all the latest federal PCI requirements. So it's tokenized. So none of the information is stored in your system. But in our case, I'm just going to hit finish. Again, it's going to go through whatever rules we've established, and then it's going to go on account. Okay, let me toggle back and stop sharing my screen here. Okay, and a couple other things here to wrap up this short webinar. That was a quick view of the software. But in conclusion, I just want to say that Infor is very distribution focused. Again, this is their primary distribution product going forward. And it's where they're investing all their dollars in new functionality, as I mentioned in the introduction, but as well as new technology. Jason and I work for Action. We are an Infor partner. Our company has over 220 employees. We're a national ERP software reseller and IT infrastructure provider. We have 2 company-owned data centers, top 20 VAR in North America. See, we won the Top Workplace Award last year, as well as some additional recognitions. And what makes us unique, we are Infor's largest distribution partner, as I mentioned. We partner with other leading technology providers as well to transform business operations for our customers. We deliver high-value consultative services addressing business process improvement, including industry best practices and innovative technology solutions. And for our ERP implementations, our proprietary lean implementation process ensures a successful go-live. So with that, Jason, I'm going to throw it back to you. I think I left a few minutes. Do we have any questions?
I think you answered all the questions that people have so far, so thank you very much for that. Continuing on, for this screen, you'll see a little QR code. You can go ahead and scan that with your camera. That'll take you to our landing page for distributors. You can find valuable and informational collateral like case studies, customer success stories, and white papers. Register for any upcoming events as well, and that is always updated. Again, this will be recorded, So if you think there was a question you wanted to ask but weren't quite sure how, you can go ahead and watch that. That should be up on our YouTube channel in about 24 hours. Watch that again. Contact us here at Action or Rob. Schedule a demo and get those questions asked for yourself. Once again, I'm Jason Axon with Action Associates. With me, as always, has been Mr. Rob Dallas. For any questions, you can contact him at rdallas@action.com. He can hook you up with a demo for your company, answer any questions you may have. And everybody, have a wonderful day. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. Thank you, Rob.
Take care.